So I'm Callum Beaumont, the founder of Cordell Beaumont. In case you don't know me, I thought I'd give you a very quick overview of kind of my background and hopefully why I sort of feel I'm in the position to be able to share some insight that I've kind of gathered and generated over my career, really, to really hopefully kind of add some value to our audience. So I started off kind of in my early kind of youth and I guess throughout my teens, kind of living with my grandfather, my nan and granddad, kind of on and off. Also lived with my parents for a period, well, majority of my youth. But my grandfather was a sale and purchase shipbroker. So from the age of around 14, 15, I'd kind of always been kind of aware of shipbroking as a business. My grandfather had his office from home at that time, so I used to work with him over the summers. And I kind of just got the bug, really, the shipping bug. And I really was excited about this maritime shipbroking industry that I'd never really heard of before. So I kind of knew from an early age that I was going to hopefully go into my grandfather's business and pursue a career in shipbroking. When I got to around 16 or 17, my mother, Sue Beaumont, had also started working for the family business. And she ended up being a sell and purchase broker for around 10 years or so, selling a number of ships and doing really, really well. So after university, I went to join the company. I spent around 7 months or so living in Greece. I was working with at the time, our ship owner clients in their offices to understand a bit more about the ship management side of shipping, and also about crewing, kind of the back office functions of a ship manager and a ship owner. So really opened my eyes to what goes on behind a ship owner's offices. And I got to spend some valuable time with the ship owners' families, go on holidays with some of them, and just build kind of the foundations of a really good kind of close-knit network. So fast forward a few years, I was a shipbroker for my grandfather. Then I went to SSY when my grandfather retired. After that, I stepped away from broking. I traveled and I came back to the UK and I joined a recruitment agency. And I started to do kind of oil and gas recruitment, bit of IT, bit of marketing. But most of all, I started to try and build a shipping division for the company where I worked, Eaglecliff, and had some early success. And initially off the back of it, I managed to land a role at Clarkson's, the shipbroker as their global, not global, sorry, their recruitment manager, essentially. So I was quite lucky to get that role. I built a little bit of a rapport with their head of HR at the time and a number of their team. My family had done numerous sell and purchase sort of sales with their sell and purchase brokers over the years. So they kind of knew our name, but I was lucky because I actually kind of at that point was considering either starting up my own recruitment agency or perhaps going to join one of the other major shipping focused recruitment agencies. So like the large ones that are well known in the market. So I went and interviewed with a couple of them to get to sort of know their style, like meet with them, learn a bit more about those businesses. And luckily off the back of doing that, I was actually approached by one of them with regards to a role at Clarkson's. So I already had a dialogue with Clarkson's, but I would never have known about the vacancy to join them if it hadn't been for those initial exploratory interviews I did with those other agencies, which could essentially become kind of my competition if I was going to launch a business. So it was a very worthwhile exercise, and I think it was actually a pivotal turning point in my career, because I then went and joined Clarkson's, a completely different business to what I've been at before. Absolutely fantastic organization, great people, really, really well looked after their employees. And I was there from 2015 to 2019, just when they were really building their digital platform and division. So I got a really good sense of, from the ground up, building their technology division, not core IT, but more the SaaS solution. So part of that role that I had, I got to really learn about the other providers in the digital shipping space, specifically the maritime software space. So I spent lots and lots of time kind of researching the other established businesses in the market to see essentially who we could try and recruit from to try and build up our team at the time. So it was really valuable. And off the back of that, I realized that there weren't many other recruitment agencies that are really kind of niche and focused on this maritime software recruiting space. And I thought, you know what, there's potentially a bit of a gap there, because there are definitely other very successful agencies that do have a little bit of exposure to this space, but none that I could see that were out and out kind of real focus. This is their specialism. So I took a bit of a leap of faith. I just had I think I had my son was like 1 or maybe 6 months old or so. Probably not the best time to leave a really kind of quite well kind of established role where I could have stayed at Clarkson's hopefully for a long time, and lots of fantastic benefits and great office overlooking the marina and everything. But I took the plunge and I left, and I opened my little office in my garage at my old house. So for the first year and a half of launching Cordell Beaumont, I really focused on initially the commercial side of recruitment, commercial shipping, sorry. So I helped a number of kind of ship owners and brokers hire across broking, vessel operations, that sort of thing. But then more and more, had my main eye on the technology side of shipping. So establishing those early relationships with SaaS and data providers in the maritime space was the real focus. And then COVID hit around, I guess early 2020, when I was about, let's say, 7 or 8 months into the business. And it was still just me at that time. So I shifted my focus away from the commercial shipping and much more into the digital side. At that time, the digital businesses were kind of thriving, I would say, were really growing. And they were just a bit more set up and a bit more kind of used to the remote style of working, that perhaps less so than the traditional ship owners and the brokers, where there's more emphasis of being in the office. So recruitment and hiring in those businesses was growing. So I really kind of shifted our focus, kind of almost rebranded us a little bit more into the digital side of shipping. And I pretty much never looked back. So I hired Daniel Duggan, I think around September 2020. So he joined after about a year and a half of the company trading. And I mentioned he comes from a shipbroking family. He was a broker and a vessel operator previously. So I helped open a lot of doors. And it just helped having someone else that knew the shipping industry. So when we approach and speak to new clients within the digital shipping space, it really helped that we kind of had a good understanding of what's involved with fixing a ship, what's involved with kind of vessel inspections, who are the likely end users of a piece of software. Is it going to be the head of chartering, a chartering manager? Is it a technical director? Is it the principal themselves, the main owner? So we kind of have a basic understanding of who they're trying to sell their solutions to. And I think that's given us a real advantage. And it also meant that when we kind of reached out to candidates or potential candidates for our clients, we had a little bit more of an in, because we kind of were already connected to majority of people from our broking days or operations days. So it was quite nice to help them transition to the digital side if they were thinking of making a move. So from then, we've just grown more and more. We've now got a team of 4 in the UK, one in the Philippines, who helps with our digital search and our more retained market mapping exercises. She's doing a fantastic job. So now going forward, obviously the launch of the new platform with the podcast Maritime Software Hub, hoping it's going to be a good platform to interview and showcase a number of our kind of contacts that we've built over the years, to try and do something different, to show people the more human element and the side of technology within shipping. So I want to learn a bit more about how did these key figures get into their role, and what were their challenges, how would they kind of describe the culture in their business, that type of thing. And ultimately, I want to try and also speak to the mariners themselves, so people that are on board vessels or in ship owning offices or chartering offices that use the software, to hear their point of view, to see if they think we're going in the right direction, if it's interesting, if it's useful, and ultimately just to try and advertise and promote the role of the digital shipping kind of career path, without obviously overlooking our roots in the commercial shipping, which has always be our core kind of to our heart, our type of sector that we will always kind of keep a toe in and and work with. So again, thank you very much for joining us. Please do like and subscribe to our channel. We'll try and make our content as useful and valuable to our listeners as possible. So please feel free to do comment or message us. I'm always on LinkedIn. That's where we kind of live, us recruiters. Message me anytime, and I'll try our best to come back to you, and we can go through any questions. All right. Thank you.